In geopolitics, some agreements are routine, but others change the game. The Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Defense Pact is not just another agreement. It could redefine the balance of power in the Middle East and South Asia. Hello and welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, today I will be talking about a major development in global and regional geopolitics, the Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Strategic Mutual Defence Agreement, signed on September 17, 2025 in Riyadh. This pact is being called a landmark deal that could reshape security dynamics in the Middle East, South Asia, and beyond. First of all, let's take a look at the background of Pakistan-Saudi relationship. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have had a close relationship for decades. Pakistan has trained Saudi troops, provided military advisors, and stationed personnel in the kingdom. Saudi Arabia, in return, has been a major source of financial aid and oil supplies to Pakistan. But until now, this cooperation was mostly informal. The new pact makes it official and binding. It states that any aggression against one country will be treated as aggression against both. In other words, it is a joint defense commitment. Now, let's discuss the key features of this pact. Joint defense. Both nations promise to respond together to external aggression. Nuclear dimension. Pakistan's defense minister, Khwaja Asif, has said that Pakistan's capabilities, including nuclear, are available under this agreement. No specific enemy named. The pact does not mention Iran, Israel, or any other country, but it clearly signals deterrence. Open to expansion. Pakistani officials have said the pact could be extended to include other Arab nations in the future. Defensive, not offensive. Both governments insist it is defensive in nature, not meant to attack others. For Saudi Arabia, it provides additional security beyond reliance on the United States and protect from Israel. For Pakistan, it elevates its global standing as the only Muslim nuclear power and deepens its economic and military partnership with a wealthy ally. For the region, it raises the cost of conflict, since attacking either Pakistan or Saudi Arabia could trigger a joint military response. Now, let's discuss the impact on the United States. The U.S. has traditionally been the main security guarantor of Saudi Arabia. This pact signals that Riyadh is diversifying and seeking independence from Washington. The U.S. may also be worried about nuclear implications. The idea that Pakistan's nuclear umbrella could now extend into the Middle East is a concern for American policymakers, who have always resisted nuclear proliferation in this region. As for Israel, Israel is also watching this development very carefully. For years, there have been quiet efforts to normalize relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia, often encouraged by the United States. But the new defense pact may complicate those efforts. Why? Because Israel sees Pakistan as a strong supporter of the Palestinian cause and a nation that does not recognize Israel. If Saudi Arabia now enters into a defense pact with Pakistan, Israel could interpret this as a signal that Riyadh is still prioritizing the Muslim world's collective defense rather than moving closer to Israel. Additionally, the idea of a Pakistani nuclear umbrella extending to Saudi Arabia raises serious Israeli concerns about strategic balance in the region. Israel already views Iran as a major threat, and now it must consider the potential of a stronger Saudi-Pakistani axis. India is also closely monitoring this pact. For New Delhi, Pakistan's closer defense ties with Saudi Arabia means two things. First, it strengthens Pakistan's strategic depth. India already faces a nuclear-armed Pakistan, and now that Pakistan has a formal security alliance with a wealthy Gulf power, India worries this could indirectly support Pakistan in South Asia. Second, India has strong economic and energy ties with Saudi Arabia. Nearly 2 million Indians work in the kingdom, and Saudi oil is crucial for India. If Saudi Arabia appears too close to Islamabad militarily, it could complicate India-Saudi relations. However, Saudi Arabia is unlikely to sacrifice its booming trade and investment relationship with India. So while India is cautious, it is not likely to break ties with Riyadh. Instead, it may deepen security cooperation with other partners, such as the U.S., Israel, and the Gulf states that feel uneasy about Pakistan's role. As for the Muslim world, this pact could act as a foundation for a stronger defensive alliance. Pakistan provides military power, while Saudi Arabia provides financial resources and religious legitimacy as the custodian of Mecca and Medina. However, it could also deepen divisions. Iran may see it as a direct threat, which could heighten Sunni-Shia tensions. On the other hand, smaller Muslim nations may feel encouraged to align themselves more closely with this emerging Saudi-Pakistani axis. Despite its promise, the pact also raises questions. How will joint defense actually work in practice? Will Pakistan be drawn into Middle Eastern conflicts? Could this provoke Iran, India, or Israel to strengthen counter-alliances? And finally, how will global powers like the U.S. and China respond? Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Defense Pact is not just a bilateral agreement. It is a turning point that could reshape alliances in both the Middle East and South Asia. Its impact will be felt not only by the U.S. and Muslim nations, but also by Israel, India, and beyond. Whether it leads to stability or new tensions will depend on how wisely both nations manage their commitments and how other global players react. This pact is more than ink on paper. It is a signal to the world that the future of security in the Muslim world may no longer be written in Washington or Moscow, but in Riyadh and Islamabad.